This is a story about Jacob Estey and his free reed organ factory, which was the largest organ factory in the world. But this is also the history of the development of American free reed organs, and a story about Yankee thrift. Use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. The story is set in the northeastern of the United States. Mainly, takes place in Brattleboro, Vermont. In 1791, Vermont joined as the 14th state, after 13 founding states, the United States of America. Brattleboro, Vermont, is located on the Connecticut River. At the West River and Whetstone Brook. Brattleboro was first settled by colonists in 1724. But Brattleboro was already an important place for the Native Americans long before the European settlers. Rediscovered petroglyphs indicate Native American religious worship at this spot. In the Native American language, Brattleboro is a place where something gets lost, called Wantastagok. Our story begins in Hinsdale, New Hampshire, across the Connecticut River, where a 4-year-old boy was given up for adoption in 1818. It is the story of Jacob Estey. Jacob fled from Hinsdale to Worcester at the age of 13, with only $2 in his pocket and a bundle of clothes under his arm, because he was repeatedly beaten by his adoptive father. After working on farms in Worcester and learning the plumbing trade, with 21 he moved to Brattleboro, where he bought a house and a small plumber's shop. In 1837, he married Desdemona Wood in Brattleboro, Vermont. In 1850, Jacob Estey built a new plumber's shop in Brattleboro, on the Main Street Bridge at Whetstone Brook, in which he also rented space to other businesses. 1852, Jacob Estey bought shares in a company that manufactured melodeons in his plumber's shop. Formed E.B. Carpenter and Company, and Estey. 2 years later, the first partner left, and Jacob founded a new company to continue organ manufacturing. Formed Estey and Green. Jacob Estey never built a musical instrument himself, nor could he play one, but he went on a journey alone, to the neighboring states and Canada, to sell these instruments. He hired players to demonstrate his instruments, and also sold his melodeons for butter, cheese, clothing, or animals. Anything he could make money from. He was able to sell all of his instruments on his tours. Old newspapers always mention Yankee thrift when describing the early days of Jacob Estey's organ company. It was also probably Yankee thrift that made Jacob fight against all disasters. A fire destroyed his plumber's shop and organ manufactory in 1857. Shortly thereafter, Estey built a new factory on the same spot, to produce free reed organs only. This factory was also hit by fire, in 1864. Brattleboro, Vermont, 1866. In 1866, Estey extended his factory. He built a new factory, further up the Whetstone Brook. But even here, he was not safe against disaster. In 1869, a major flood of the Whetstone Brook hit Brattleboro. There was major damage in Brattleboro and of the Estey Company's timber stocks. Also, this disaster couldn't stop the Yankee thrift. In 1869, Estey relocated again. A new, even larger factory was built on a terrace above Brattleboro. A flood-proof location. The Hugh factory buildings were built with fireproof slate cladding. To be safe, there was also a fire department on the site. Within 4 years, the first planned 4 buildings quickly became 6, and then 8. The complex grew more and more, and at its peak had about 29 buildings. Learn more about this factory, the largest free reed organ factory in the world, in a factory special. Jacob Estey lived with his wife Desdemona on Canal Street in Brattleboro, until his death in 1890. He left behind his wife and 2 children. After Jacob Estey's death, the management of the company was taken over by his son Julius Jacob, and his sons Jacob Gray and Julius Harry. In 1892, the Estey Organ Company reached its peak. 250,000 instruments, celebrated big in Brattleboro. The Estey Organ Company achieved an incredibly impressive 500,000 free reed organ instruments by around 1950. That is why the story of Jacob Estey and his company is not just the story of Jacob. It is also the story of his wife, Desdemona Wood. The story of his children, Abby Emily Estey Fuller and Julius Jacob. And the story of his son-in-law, Levi Knight Fuller, and his daughter-in-law, Florence Carpenter Gray. It is the story of where they lived in Brattleboro, and how they worked together in the family business. It is also the story of the Brattleboro Melodeon Company, which emerged in 1867 from the Corporatiof Jacob Estey Company. Later became the E.P. Carpenter Company. It's also the story of 2 young men, Jones brothers, who came to Brattleboro in 1846, to change American free reed organ history forever. In the Estey Organ History series, you'll see where all these people lived in Brattleboro, where they came from, and what their homes and factories looked like. It's a journey through American free reed organ history, from 1821 to 1961, based on the incredible life story of Jacob Estey. Wantastagok, where something is lost, is the Native American name for Brattleboro. Warning: if you watch the entire series, you'll not only learn about American free reed organ history, but you'll also fall in love with Brattleboro, Vermont. United States of America, 1847. Only the wealthy could afford to possess musical instruments of any sort. Today, the humblest home may have its fireside organ. This happy change is due to the Estey organ, more than to any other one cause. Stevens County Reporter, January 27, 1877.